Hello everyone and welcome to Club Deck Corner here on Club at 22, the Rangers podcast. I am Scott Carney and this week in Club Deck Corner we're taking a break from the norm. We're not going to sit and discuss current Rangers news or anything like that. We'll round up everything on Friday. Tonight is all about our channel members Q&A. So I put a post out and you've responded, everybody that supports us by signing up to the YouTube channel, either by being a Club at 2 supporter or a next level supporter. I put a post out and asked you for your questions and you've responded. So we've decided to do a wee podcast, just have a little bit of fun tonight and take a break from the transfer mill, rumour mill, if you like. So joining me tonight is Alistair Pearson. Ali, how are you, mate?
Very well. Scotia won't be here because his beloved Scotland are playing again tonight. He was in Cloud 9 on Saturday after the late 2-1 victory. But yeah, look forward to answering the listeners' questions.
Yeah, so I know I don't want to talk about Scotland, so I don't really care, but it was some comeback, to be fair. When they scored the second one, I was like, oh, there you go. Because I watched that and watched I think I seen most of the second half. But I mean, I can imagine how excited Scotia must have been at that point, mate. You must have to pull him off the ceiling. Right, so yeah, we're just going to answer the questions. Just as a thank you for you signing up to the channel. You get to ask us anything, really anything you want. I said it didn't have to be Rangers related, could be anything. You won't be surprised that the majority of it is Rangers related, mate. But yeah, so again, if you want to support the channel, you can sign up for as little as 99p. The next level supporter is $1.99. All you need to do is click the join button on YouTube, and next time we do one of these, you can get the chance to ask us a question. So it is just a wee thank you. So there is some good ones in here, mate. There is some good ones. So we'll just kick off, mate. Are you ready, mate? Are you ready?
I feel a bit nervous, to be honest, because I don't know any of these questions. It could be anything. Absolutely anything. So yeah,
there's not
ready,
there's
ready to go.
There's not too many that'll throw you off. Right, so first one from David Nimmo. Thank you, David. First Gels game you lads went to. What was your first Rangers game, mate?
Oh, I would have been. There's actually a picture of me, Karen. I think my mum's got it somewhere in a full Rangers tracksuit when I was a bit. Must have been 6, 7, probably my niece's kind of age at the time. Full tracksuit. I think it was Motherwell. I could be wrong. I don't know at Ibrox, but I was very, very young. Let's just say that. But there's a picture of me in a full tracksuit, probably worth a bob or two now if I still had that, to be honest, because it's a very retro one with the scarf. But yes, I think it was Motherwell. But again, I mean, I'm going back to when I was a very wee boy.
Yeah. Mine was Rangers v Arsenal in a friendly, and it was Alan McLaren's testimonial. I think it was that. It was either that or John Brown. No, it wasn't John Brown's. It must have been Alan McLaren's. I would say, mate, I was 6 or 7, I think, something like that. And it was a 2 each draw, I'm sure. I remember where I was sitting in the Broomloan rear with my dad, and we had friends up from England at the time as well. And that was my first experience of Ibrox. And yeah, ever since then, I've really not stopped going. It took a wee bit longer for me to be going on a consistent basis. I don't remember my first competitive game though. That's a right question, mate. I don't remember 2 hours ago, so I'm not the best at these kind of things. But I don't remember my first competitive game. But I remember that was definitely my first, because I got a scarf and all that bought that time, and that was my first experience. That was my first experience of seeing Walter and that as well. I remember seeing him in the dugout and all that. So yeah, that was the two. It was definitely 2 each though. I remember it finishing 2 each, but it was one of those family days, I think. But that seems like a million years ago, literally a million years ago. But the competitive one, man, I would really need to sit down and think. I'd probably need to sit and go through all the results from back then and think, what one was I actually at? Because I don't fully remember. But I remember the first time being at Ibrox, and that was it. And I was hooked. We both were, mate. We were both hooked. So cheers, David. Thanks for that, mate. Next is Finlay Cameron. He's asked, a beyond wealthy Saudi consortium comes in with an offer to buy Rangers. Do we tell them no thanks, or do we say that boy Haaland might fancy coming to Rangers? His opinion is that he would say no to that. What's your opinion on this, mate? There is another one that slightly ties into this as well, but what would your, if we were getting linked with some billionaire Saudi prince or whatever, would you be keen on Rangers getting bought over?
if he wants to come in and chuck money at us, as long as he keeps everything the same, like Ibrox and all that, and doesn't want to change all that. But if somebody wanted to come in and chuck money at us, like you look at the Premiership with Newcastle and all them,
Mm-hmm.
yes, I would be up for it. Um, I can, realistically, I can't see it happening because I know these guys that own these big football clubs, your Man Cities and that, is a bit of a hobby, but at the same time, they do make money out these clubs in Scotland. You're not going to make money up here, to be honest. But if somebody wanted to come and chuck stupid money at us, yes. The only problem is if I mean this is all in a different
Hypothetically,
world. Yes,
yes.
hypothetical. If somebody came and chucked a wad of money at Rangers, as we are now in the Scottish Premiership, I still don't know how you would attract players. I know you could offer ridiculous wages if somebody come in with that, but would players still want to come and play for in the Scot? No, it's mainly the league, if you want to say, rather than Rangers. So yes, an interesting one. I would love it to happen, but I don't think there'll be any Saudi princes or whatever coming our way.
No, I'm in two minds about it, and I'll tell you for why. I, I love the idea of it, mate. I love the idea of us being able to progress into the Champions League and go a lot further and get to really exciting, massive ties like European football ties. However, I do think Scottish football as a whole would diminish even further than what already is, because unless you've got another team that's going to will and like try and compete with you, and I know we obviously look at the Premiership and you see Man City, they're obviously been bought over. I consider Man City in the nicest possible way that they're not like Rangers to me. There's too many people standing there with their phones out when Haaland scoring a goal in the Champions League, for example. They kind of things where I'm like, you should put your phone away, enjoy it, enjoy the moment, live in the moment. No disrespect to Spectrum in that sense, but they're not a traditional club the way that I would like to look at Rangers. There's going to be Man City fans watching this. They're not going to be very happy at all. But they've got, I mean, billions of pounds pumped into them. I don't know how much over the years. And but you've still got Man United, who are arguably one of the richest clubs in the world as well. You still have Arsenal that have done superb this season. They really have. Liverpool, massive team, big backing. So that kind of weighs itself out no matter what you look at it. Man City have eventually bought themselves the Champions League, but that's the nature of the game. As if we had the money, we would be spending it to do exactly the same thing. So Scottish football will become incredibly boring, I believe, because if we were attracting that kind of football, I mean, you're not going to get. Are you going to get 50,000 there when you're already won the league by Halloween? I don't know. I just don't know. I feel like it would kind of take something away from the club. However, if somebody wants to come and just put money in, no questions asked, and let us go on with how things are, yes, I'm all for that. Of course, I am. But it's a bit of a weird one. It's a bit of a strange one. I don't know how I would entirely feel if, say, again, if somebody was just wanting to put in the money, like you said, mate, and things stay the way they are, the current board or whatever, maybe slight alterations to the board, yes, but and let it run as it's going, but there would just be a almost just a free bank for us, then yeah, I'm all for it. And but I just don't see it happening. There's not enough return in Scottish football. There's not enough.
Nah.
There's not enough excitement. The league's too small. The rest of the stadiums aren't great, taken away from maybe the big two in Scotland. Again, no disrespect to them. There's fantastic stadiums, a lot of them, but they're not of a grand stature, if that makes sense. I think it would be interesting if somebody decided that they were going to buy the league. I think that's a completely different ballgame if they were going to decide that they were going to buy the entire league. But yeah, I'll say I'm 50-50 on that one. I'll say I'm 50-50 at best. So, Magic Finley, thanks very much, mate. Really do appreciate it. And next one is Kane's World. I don't even know. Kane's World. Oh, if that's your name, that's cool. If your name is Kane's World, that's pretty cool. Apart from Sir Walter, Ali, who was your favourite manager for us and why?
Oof.
That's a tough one, that.
It's tough because I've grown up with Walter for a considerable period of time. I was technically alive when Graham Souness was manager, but I'd say I
I
was
wasn't. I
too
don't think I
young
would.
to.
No, I wouldn't have been. No, I wouldn't have been.
I was too young to remember that, so
Yeah.
I wouldn't. I'd be cheating. So I grew up with Walter. After that, favourite after Walter. That's a hard one, Carney. There's a few.
Mm-hmm.
Le Guin? No, can't say that.
Casino.
Well, if you think about it, after Walter, then you had the only real ones that kind of stand out is Alan McLeish when he
Mm-hmm.
came, and even Stephen Gerrard to a point winning that title back. Um, if I had to go for one, maybe Alan McLeish. But Advocat as well, but again, he get money flung at him and stuff. So it's that's a
Yeah.
difficult one. Walter for me is it's Walter, and
Aye.
that's it, to be honest. But Alan McLeish, for what he did, I thought Alan McLeish did well for Rangers. Came in, won 2 cups, won a treble with Rangers. That was when the Advocat team was breaking up. We were getting rid of players and stuff, and I thought he got a good tune out the Rangers players then. So yeah, I'll go for McLeish.
I think McLeish is a shout, mate. I think McLeish his time at Rangers is pretty underrated. I think for what he achieved in the time that he was here. I liked McLeish. I still do. I still like McLeish now, even when you hear him speaking that now. I really like him. But for for someone that I adored the way that I adored Walter Smith, and I'll again people might disagree. It was Steven Gerrard for me. I absolutely adored Steven Gerrard. I couldn't believe it when I told you that day in the Loudon who the new Rangers manager was going to be, and you were going, no chance. And I was like, I'm telling you, it's going to happen. It's going to happen. You get told off, good friend of the pod, that it was happening, and yeah, Steven Gerrard just he epitomised this figurehead that we needed at the club. He epitomised that, and that's as much as a compliment as I can give him. That I wouldn't mention him in the same conversation as Walter. I don't mean that, but in terms of being a stature of a man, I can imagine Steven Gerrard walking in a changing room and everybody going very, very quiet when he walks in. That kind of aura about him, that kind of the presence of him. And I loved McLeish. I did. I liked Big Advocate as well, but things were crazy back then.
Yeah.
Absolutely crazy. And I mean, in between all that, there's not really many more that you could really hang your hat on, let's be honest. Especially not during the banter years. There's not many. I mean, I didn't mind Mark Warburton, I'm not going to lie. I didn't mind him. I didn't mind what he was trying to do, and his philosophy of football kind of lost his way pretty quickly, mind you, but I didn't really bother me. It didn't really offend me in any great way, and I quite liked him. But yeah, probably Steven Gerrard for me. He's probably in my lifetime, anyway, in my lifetime. Obviously, we could go back and speak about Struth and Wallace and whatever else, but and Souness as well, as you mentioned. But in my lifetime, the one that I adored is after Walter was Steven Gerrard. It really was. I loved the guy. I absolutely loved him. And that was before he even won as a title, mate. So yeah, I'll go with Stevie G. Be interesting to, by the way, obviously it goes without saying, everything we're asking tonight, please leave your answers in the comments. It'd be interesting to see what everybody's opinions are. It would be good to get the chat going amongst the community. So yes, thank you very much, Kane's World. We'll move on to, I think it's Andrew Muir. Bush Papa, is that his handle on YouTube? But I'm pretty sure that's Andrew Muir. Pretty sure. He's asked, John Greig received a CBE honour last week. Do you not think a knighthood would have been more appropriate?
Yeah. Well, for what he's done in football, for what he's done for Rangers, I mean, he's still at Rangers, John Greig. There was a few folk in football that got that award. There, Carney. Um, but no, is he an MBE as well, John Greig? No, is he?
You can you have both?
Get two? I don't know. I don't know.
You're asking
What
the
did
wrong guy, mate.
What did
You're
Walter get?
Scotian.
Walter
He
got
got
an
an
award.
MB. He got an
Yeah,
MB. So did
that's
McCoy.
maybe.
McCoy's got an MB as
Yeah,
well.
I remember McCoy's coming in with his MB. There's a good video with that with your aunt, and they're all waiting for McCoy's coming in with this MB.
And he walks in, mate.
That's
He's got it on it
yeah.
up and he walks in.
Oh,
Yeah.
it's quite good, that one. But no, but John Greig, no, it's yeah. I don't know how it gets to the point how you get a knighthood or how you get an MBE or who actually decides all this, to be honest.
No, me neither.
Because there's umpteen different folk with MBEs, even just normal people that have an MBE.
Mm-hmm.
But but John Greig, I mean, he's still, like I say, he's still at Ibrox. what is it? Is he like an ambassador at Rangers or something, John
I
Greig? I mean,
think he is.
he's in amongst it all the time. I think when new players come in, he shows them about and everything. He's
Yeah.
there. He's there all the time. He's got a statue outside as well. That's where a lot of people meet Carney. That's a frustration of ours because when you come out the club deck,
Don't get it.
you can't move because people
Of all
always meet
all the
there.
places to meet, why are you meeting there? Drives me bonkers, mate.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's a nightmare. But no, yeah. But like I say, I don't know the protocols and how you do all that. But aye, fair play to him anyway.
Yeah, no, I don't understand the whole protocol about it as well. But no, I mean, arguably John Greig's the greatest ever Ranger that we've ever had. I think he was voted that, I think, wasn't he? He was voted the greatest ever Ranger. And yeah, he deserves every accolade, accomplishment, every award going, as far as I'm concerned. He's a lovely lad, a lovely guy by all regards. I've never had the pleasure of meeting him, but I know some people that have, and they just say he's an absolute gentleman. And yeah, I mean, a knighthood probably would have been more appropriate, but we are also looking at this through blue tinted glasses. You must understand. But for what he's done for the club, for what he's done for Scottish football, really, I would have said John Greig deserved the highest award going. So yeah, but I mean, I'm pretty sure he's not losing sleep over it. It's still a pretty good achievement, one to put on the resume that you've got a CBE. What do they stand for? Do you even know CBE? What's a CBE
Oh,
stand for?
don't ask me. That's when you need Scotia here, to be honest.
Yeah, I'm going to look it up quickly, mate, while we're doing it to see what it means. CBE means Commander of the Order of the British Empire. Oh, it's pretty
There you
cool.
go.
There you
Scotia
go.
would definitely know that,
He
100%.
would know that. He would know that.
I
We'll
think,
get shouted at for not knowing it, but
I'm sure Dick Campbell from Arbroath got the same one as
did
well.
he?
He did. No, I got it. Dick Campbell got it. For
No
his
way.
services to football, I did. I'm sure he's a character, but I'm sure he got
Yeah,
the
as a
same
character.
award as well. Yeah.
He's been on that open goal, I think, a couple of times as well, that Campbell, hasn't he?
Aye,
I think.
brilliant.
I'm sure he has.
Just says what he
He's quite
thinks.
funny. Yeah, he does. He's quite funny. So, Magic, thank you very much. Andrew, very much appreciated, mate. Next one, Mr. Largo. Do you think a couple of billionaire backers for two teams apart from the old firm would be welcome to mix up the top, or do we prefer the status quo? I'll take this one first. I think anything to get more teams competitive towards the top of the league is a good thing. Obviously, I want Rangers to win it. I do get that, but I think, and I've bitched on about this since we probably started this podcast, that the game up here is just so undersold, and the teams that aren't the top two, aren't the old firm, they just kind of pander to the footballing authorities in this country, and they just kind of let them run the game any way they want. And we've been undersold I don't know how many times now, and everybody's too scared to stand up to them because of the thought of, well, we could get X amount of millions, but if we go after that, then we'll not get this definite whatever it was, 500,000, whatever it was. So yeah, for me, I would like. And I want Aberdeen to become a super rich club. Probably not. But again, that's probably a wee bit of bias running through me there. But I think anything to improve the game as a whole in Scotland, I would be all for. It's always going to be, unfortunately, the top two. But I think it would certainly be interesting. I think it would be interesting to see things if we didn't just have to look out for Celtic and Celtic didn't just have to look out for us. If there was somebody else that was chasing at the heels of both, I think it would be exciting. As I say, we all like to go and watch Rangers win, of course we do, but we also want to be involved in an exciting league campaign. So if you don't have competition, then there's not really much for it. I don't think so. Yeah, I would be. Whether I want two teams to be taken over, I don't know. Maybe an investment in Scottish football in a whole. I would probably be like kind of harping back to the question they asked about the Saudi takeover bid. I would just like an improvement overall in Scotland and Scottish football, so we weren't looked at as such a lower quality league. I'll put it politely. What's your thoughts on that, mate?
Yeah, well, you want the league to be more competitive. You look at the league as it stands now. You look what Rangers and Celtic ended on points wise this season. Rangers ended up with
Huge.
90 odd points and didn't win the league. And I don't know what the third place team off the top of my head was, but must have been an easy 20 plus points ahead of them, maybe 30 points plus ahead of it was Aberdeen that finished third. So the rest of the teams, it's probably the poorest it's been in a long time, Carney, because you look used to look years ago before what happened to us, and you would look across. Celtic would look at us, we would look at them in terms of who they were playing, and both teams would drop points. You look now, they rarely drop points.
35 points.
There you go, 35 points. So it shows how poor the league is outside the Celtic and Rangers. So it's yeah, it would be good for these teams to be more competitive, but they don't have the finances, unfortunately. And it's
Nah.
a lot of these guys that come into these clubs have a grand plan of trying to challenge Celtic and Rangers, getting close, and they never do. The only one I can really think back to, I mean, I know Aberdeen kind of were pushing when we come back up, if you want to say, but we could just come back up the league, so we weren't fully ready at that point. The only one that you could really go back to is probably Hearts. I
Yeah.
remember Hearts when I think Romanov had them, won their first 9 or 10 games in the league, and pushed the two of them. I think they might have split us that year. I think we might have came third that year, possibly. I think they split us, but that's the last time I can really think of it when it was kind of competitive, to be honest, between another club outside Rangers and Celtic. But it's I don't think it'll happen. I think it potentially could get worse next season, and it's that's going forward next season. I know we're not here to talk about next season, but we need to cut out drawing points against these teams because they won't. When you look at this season, they didn't drop points against these other teams, and we hardly dropped points, but it still cost us. So it's the league's as poor as it's ever been, to be honest.
Yeah, and now Brendan's coming back with a bag of cans as well, mate. So, I mean, he's going to have a point to prove, is he not? So, yeah, you ever seen so many people change their mind about a person in your life, mate? Because I certainly haven't. I certainly haven't. Anyway, we're not here to talk about that, but it did make me chuckle. I'm not going to laugh. It did make me chuckle. But yeah, no, I agree, mate. I think quickly touching on next season, I think we're in for it. I think it's a tight season next season. Again, I think it will
Yeah,
be nip and tuck pretty much the whole way. I say I'm liking the recruitment that we're doing so far, but once Brendan's actually in and he starts recruiting who he wants, moving on who he wants to, then it'll be interesting to see. It'll be interesting to see the way it's going to go. But as again, it's exciting, and if anything, it's levelled the playing field for next season slightly. I would say. I think both teams are kind of going into this with freshness now around it, so it will be an interesting one to see. That is for sure. Right, mate. We'll move on to our next one. Thank you, Mr. Largo, for your question. Justin Muir, God bless America, buddy. Who is your all-time favourite defender for our wonderful club?
defender.
He probably meant that to ask to Scotia that, but he's not said. And Scotia isn't here, so
Yeah, I know Scotia's answer's all-time favourite defender. As an obvious one, it comes to me instantly because I grew up with him. Richard Gough for me. It's
yeah,
got to be Richard Gough. There's lots of good defenders we've had. You can round them all off. But Richard, because I grew up through that 9-in-a-row season, and Richard, he epitomised a Rangers captain for me. I thought he was brilliant. Put his head in where it hurts. I mean, I always that bandage that he had down with the blood off. That's he would die for Rangers. Richard Gough. He was a fantastic defender. After 9-in-a-row, he went to America and then came back to Rangers. In
was it not Toronto he went to? Was it not?
He went somewhere that neck of the woods. It was America or Canada,
Yeah,
and he came back during when we were going for the 10th season. He came back, but
yeah.
he was he was a fantastic player, Richard Gough. And you look at him now. I mean, I've got him on Facebook, but he looks the same, Richard Gough. He's probably just as fit now. I think he does like triathlons and all that. I think his wife does that too. But Richard Gough for me.
Is that Scotia's or Scotia's Davy Beer?
I think Scotia's is Richard Gough.
I think Scotia's is Gough. I don't know who Ryan's would be. It's hard not for it to me. Richard Gough was the
Yeah,
captain,
the
mate.
obvious one. Yeah.
He was the skipper, wasn't he? He was just the captain. We grew up with him, and it was one of the ones that you always thought he was going to be there. And that image of him lifting the 9-in-a-row trophy, mate, will be with me till the day I part this earth. I'll never forget it. I'll never forget the emotion in his face when he was lifting it. It's hard not to say Gough. It really is hard not to see him. I like John Brown because he was a raving lunatic, and I'll give a shout to Davy Robertson as well. I thought Davy Robertson was fantastic. I loved watching Davy Robertson playing football. He was a left back when I was started going to Ibrox, and I loved him. But I mean, you could start working your way through the years. I mean, we had Arthur Newman playing for us, Carlos Bocanegra, Carlos Queller, Davy Weir. I mean, absolute superb defenders, literally superb defenders. So there is quite a lot to choose from. But I'm going to have to be boring and agree with you, mate, because if I think of a Rangers centre half, I think of Richard Gough, and I think I always will. Obviously, before our generation, people are going to be discussing Butcher and the likes. Again, but I didn't get to see them play, so you always try to keep it relevant and your kind of lifetime. But in fact, to be different, I'll say Davy Robertson. I love Davy Robertson. I did. I thought he was great.
He was before his time, David Robertson, the way he played.
100%, mate. Yeah, never forget that goal that he scored against Celtic, and it was cut off. Remember at Ibrox, there was absolutely no reason for it to be cut off. Remember, kind of broke down the left hand side and just kind of fired it and it went up, kind of
Yeah,
into the
yeah.
roof of the net. And he ran off celebrating and it get cut off. I'm sure that one get disallowed. I'm pretty sure it did. I think I can't remember the score that game. 3 each, maybe. 3 each of that. See, my memory's shocking. We should do our research before we do podcast, mate. But no, I'll say to go a slightly different, I'll say David Robertson. But I mean, it's just golf, isn't it? That is, unfortunately. Magic Justin, thank you very much, mate. Callum G has asked, who would be your 3 players / managers, past or present, you would invite to a dinner party and why? Oh.
Three managers and 3 players, or just
No, 3, either like a combination, mate. So
right, okay.
you've got 3. You've got a man to pick. You can pick from managers or players, and you've got 3 to go from, past or present, that who you would like at a dinner party and why. So we'll both say Smith, yes.
Yeah, well, I've met Walter Smith. I've had time with him. Yeah, Walter. Walter's good. Walter's got a good dry sense of humour, but he's
Yeah, yeah.
no, he's decent. Yeah, Walter. I'll go Walter.
But I would definitely say Walter. Who would I go before that? Can you imagine sitting in the same room with Bill Struth and Walter Smith talking about Rangers? Can you imagine that? Can you imagine something along the lines of that, mate? That would be incredible. And Souness as well. Imagine them 3 in it. Oh my goodness. I'm actually here's my face. I stand up thinking about something like that. If that could ever happen, that would be incredible. Well, there's my 3. In fact, we'll do that. There's my 3 managers. That's the 3 managers that I would like to sit at a dinner
If
party
you,
with.
if you do
And
it, if
then,
you do it that way, 3 managers, 3 players. I mean, my 3 managers were Walter and obvious. Graham Souness. I think I'd have to put Graham Souness in there just for what he's done. Not even with Rangers, but in football in general. I'd
yeah,
love to ask him about that Fenerbahce when he put that flag right in the middle of the park as well. It ran through his head.
what was he
Um,
thinking?
yeah, and somebody else. Bill Struth's an obvious one.
Maybe Gerrard. That'd be quite good.
Yeah, Gerrard. Put him in there.
Yeah,
Those are my
maybe
3
Gerrard.
managers.
Because you would just love to hear his stories, wouldn't you? I'd love to hear all about Steven Gerrard's stories. But yeah, right, throw 3 players. Ali McCoist, because he's good bants. You
Yeah.
would have to have Coisty, I think. Oh, that's tough, man. That is really, really difficult. Who else could we pick, mate? Who else could we pick? So I would say McCoist, definitely. Maybe Cooper. I'd love to meet David Cooper. If I had ever had the chance, I'd love to have met him.
See, I'm thinking if I'm going for dinner with these folks, I want a bit of banter. I want a bit of nonsense. See, Gascoigne for me would be on that table.
Yeah.
Him and McCoy's, the 2 of them would be. You could even throw Durant in there, the 3 of them. That'd be an absolute nightmare. But
Yeah, you could. Yeah, that would be good. I mean, Loudrop's an obvious one for me, but I wouldn't say that he's the biggest kind of personality,
yeah,
if you like. Do you know what I
I
mean?
don't think he would. Yeah,
He's not like the kind of biggest of like personalities, I don't think. Scotty Arfield would be good on a night out. You would know that.
yeah.
You would know
I've been on
that.
a night out
You've
with
been
him.
on a night out with Scotty. Scott Arfield would be good on a night out. But if I had to pick three, so yeah, McCoist. I'd love to meet David Cooper. I literally would absolutely love to meet David Cooper. He's probably my favourite Rangers player that I didn't ever get to see with my own two eyes. And it's difficult, man. Yeah, Gaza. Yeah, Gaza in his prime, man. To sit and have a conversation with them three, that'd be pretty good. So who was yours? McCoy, Gaza, and Duran.
Boys, because the three of them played in the
Yeah,
same
bounce
year,
off
and
each other. Yeah,
I'd want just the stories, and I think they'd be a laugh, to be honest. That's what
yeah.
I'd go with.
That's fair enough, mate. That's fair enough. Thank you, Cal, mate. Really do appreciate it. You could probably put a combination of about 1,000,000 together for
Yeah.
different players that you would love to be able to sit and have a chat with. Sandy Jardine as well. Love to be able to sit and have a chat with him. I think that would be incredible. It really would. John Greig as well. I'd love to hear his stories. I mean, you could just go on. You could just go on. I say we've all met Gorham, had a chat with Gorham and stuff as well. And he used to drink in the same pub as us for a bit, mate. And he was always good for a story as well. But there's just so many. There is literally just so many.
Yeah.
But interesting question again. Let us know what yours. Let us know what yours would be. Right. Thank you very much, Billy McWhirter. There's been a lot of great victories against Celtic. My favourite was a 3-0 winning game at Parkhead, the Gers Huddle, etc. What's your favourite victory against Celtic, mate? Oh, goodness me, man. Goodness me, that is a difficult one. Now there's a lot. There is a lot. What one comes to you first?
There's one that comes to my mind. It's on Sky Sports a lot. They do a lot of the games
Yeah,
from the
the
past, if you know what I mean.
golden days and whatever
And
it is.
it's
Yeah,
always one, and it was at New Year. Walter was the manager. Rangers beat Celtic at Ibrox 3-1. You remember the Alberts free kick?
yeah,
And
mate.
then
Yeah,
it went one each, and Eric Bo Anderson come on and scored 2
Eric
goals in the
Bow,
last bit.
super
And
Eric Bow.
there's an image of not an image, but Walter goes down the touchline with that big jacket, getting at Laldy. That I remember that game. I'd probably put that up there. I mean, there's tons of games that we've beaten them in
Aye,
that,
there's
but that's one that came to my mind straight away. That one.
yeah, there is so many. There is absolutely so many. The day we won the league at Parkhead as well. I'll never forget that.
Yeah,
I'll
that's
never forget
brilliant.
that. I wasn't at that, unfortunately. I think my dad was at that. I'm pretty sure my dad was there at that one. But no, I wasn't at that one. There is so many, man. There's literally so many. Barry Ferguson's final with the Loving Crans one as well.
Yeah, speak to it.
Incredible,
Yeah.
incredible day. Absolutely incredible day. Uh, you know what game I really enjoyed that I was at, and it might have been something to do with the alcohol I was consuming at the time. Not going to lie, but remember the 4-2 game at Ibrox where Stephen Naismith scored and he kept running up the
Right,
crowd and doing covering
yeah,
his ears and all that. Yeah, the goals and that one and the Kyle Lafferty one when it took him ages to
yeah. To put
um,
it in the net. Yeah.
put it in. But the one that I think that I've been at that was the most, chaotic celebration was when Morris Edu scored. The last minute goal that was ridiculous. That that was absolutely bonkers. That was a crazy time. But I've been at so many. I've been so many, even ones at Hampden as well. I've been to so many, and it'd be really difficult for me to pin one down. But yeah, I'll go for the Edu one just because of the absolute limbs and scenes at the end of it. It was incredible because we'd pretty much secured the league then after we won
Yeah.
that. So
Went 10 points clear. Yeah.
yeah, that's right. Went 10 points clear. So that was good. And I couldn't have told you. I couldn't have told you who scored that goal until it was announced that who scored it. I had no idea who had scored.
Chris Boyd should
Well,
have scored. Made an
yeah,
arse
she
of it.
should have. Oh, I didn't make an ass of it. A Boccanegra was Boogie win? No, well, Boccanegra. It was Bigera.
Bigera.
Boccanegra. But who's Boccanegra? He's actually an American guy, isn't it?
He's been linked with our to be our new
No,
sport
it's
director,
been
but you want to say? I know it's been
that was it's
poo-pooed,
been
but yeah.
poo-pooed. So yeah, I'll go for that one just because it was just scenes. It was scenes. But yeah, again, let me know what everybody. I want to know everybody's because there'll be ones that you'll say and I'll go, oh, I forgot about that one. That was a cracker. So yeah, brilliant. Thank you very much, Billy. Right, this one, mate. Jay McGregor. If yes, I McGregor. Sorry, my eyesight. I McGregor. I apologise. If you were making a Rangers Mount Rushmore, mate, who would you have on it? And there's four faces on Mount Rushmore in case you wanted to know.
Gosh, anyone Rangers related, manager, player, doesn't matter who it is.
Anyone. I'm pretty sure if you were making something like that for Rangers, they're going to need to have quite a stature, quite a legacy, quite a
Bill,
reputation behind them, mate.
Bill Struth,
Yeah, I'd agree.
Walter Smith,
I'd agree.
Alan McCoist because he's all-time goal scorer,
Okay.
and Dalcio. No.
Brandon Barker.
Aye, just as a wind up at the end. Jimmy
Sakala.
Bell.
Jimmy Bell, very good shout, mate. Very, very good shout. And now, honestly, it's hard for me not to just name founding fathers here because without them, we wouldn't be here. We wouldn't have this team. No disrespect to Jimmy, but based on this, I would agree with your three, mate. To be honest, I think John Greig probably deserves a shout up there. I don't know if we could narrow it down to just four. And Struth maybe slightly more deserving than Smith. I'm sorry, Walter. I am, but Struth maybe slightly more deserving than Smith. And Tom Vallance, mate, because we are named after him in a long-winded way. We are named after this podcast is named after Tom Vallance. He was the first Rangers captain, so it'd be hard not to, for selfish reasons, not to have him there. But I mean, questions like this, mate, always make me sit and think about just how many people have been such a massive part of this club's history. Really, like there's far too many you could sit and get into. But the McNeil brothers as well. I mean, you can't really not include them. Do you know what I mean? For everything that they've done, and it's very. You would need quite a big mountain, I think, put it that way, because you would need to put a lot of faces on it. So yeah, to nail mine down, I'll go. Yeah, I'll go Struth. Oh, sorry, Walter. I really am sorry. Tom Vallance, McCoist, and Jimmy Bell. That would be my. And you'd put Smith in instead of Tom Vallance, which is fair enough. But look, again, another one you could come up with a million combinations about. You really could. There's plenty that deserve a mention that wouldn't be on that cut. It would be too hard to get it down to just four. But no, good question, mate. Thank you very much. Aye, McGregor. I really do appreciate it. Right, mate, we're getting there. Dr. Logan has asked, I don't know why these. I need to tell you to leave your names next time because your name. Are you a doctor? We'll soon find out. Who's your most underrated players we've ever had, or guys who don't get the love from fans that they maybe deserve? The one that comes straight to the top of my mind from me growing up, Jonathan Johansson, mate. I adored him. I thought he was great. I loved him, everything about him. Like just the way how fast he was when there was something about him. There was something about Johansson that I just loved. And when he left, I was gutted when he left. Johansson I remember really liking. I mean, I don't think he was not liked by the fans though. He just ultimately wasn't really that good enough. But I always liked him. Always liked him. In modern times, oh man, man, oh man. I don't know. You go. You come up with something.
If I'm going back a wee bit from see that 9-in-a-row season, and I thought he was a steady player for us and never let us down. Scored at Parkhead as well. Alec Cleland.
Cleland, yeah.
Alec
He's a bit of a cult hero, isn't he?
Yeah.
Cleland. Bit of a cult hero. He was probably a little bit underrated. Maybe didn't get the respect he deserved. There's so many. I think I know everybody knows that Stuart McCall was a great player, but I don't think he really gets as much credit as he probably deserved. McCall was a great player. He was an absolutely superb player, hard as nails, man. He was a great player. But there is quite a lot. But Johansson is one I always remember. I just thought he was great. I didn't want him to leave. I don't really know why, actually. I don't really know why. But I did. I really liked Johansson. Right now, it's It's Sakala, isn't it? I mean, it is. It just is. I mean, I know a lot of people love him, a lot of people hate him. Not hate him's probably a bit too harsh a word, but don't rate him or whatever. But the guy's goal involvement's just off the charts, man. Sakala would be the modern day one. Who would you say Sakala in this current squad?
In the current squad we've got right now, underrated. I'm sort of rattling through who we've got here. A lot of them, a lot of these players, people want rid of this season.
Yeah, that's
So
true. That's
I'm
true.
trying to think of somebody kind of underrated. In a kind of weird way, Carney. I'll probably get slack in the comments for this one. I'll get slack for Ryan. He is a hero, but at the same time, he isn't. He splits the Rangers support. Tav for me, maybe.
Yeah, mate. Yeah, I'll be.
I
I'm a
know folk go, his figures going forward are brilliant, but he's not a defender. But um, I think folk in years to come, when he retires, fair will look back and go, what a bit of business he was for £200,000.
Yeah, 100%, mate. Yeah, as I say, I've defended Tav quite a lot on this podcast, mate, and I would agree with that. I did think of Tav. I did think possibly Tavernier. But yeah, you get slaughtered, mate. I'm going to let you die on that sword, mate. You can die on it. Oh no, I've just lost them all. Give me a dead professional. I do get this dead professional. I've just lost where I was. Right, we've done that one. We've done that one. There we go. So Aldo's asked two to finish up, mate. How many goals will Big Sam Lammers get this season? And he also says, keep up the great work, lads. I love this podcast. Thank you very much, Aldo. It's very nice of you.
It depends where he plays, because I
Yeah.
don't think he's going to be. Well, it depends what formation Beale's going to play next season. We don't know. There's Scotia thinks he might play that two, if you want to say, which he was kind of tinkering with to the tail end of the season when it was your pals Matondo and Sakala playing the positions. But it depends where he plays. If he plays as a 10, I mean, it could be a foil for somebody else up there. I would like to think wherever he plays in that, if you want to say front line, because I don't think he's going to be our out-and-out striker next season, Carney.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think he will be. I would be expecting 15 goals off him next season.
Yeah, I was thinking 14 to 16, genuinely, mate. I was like 14 to 16. I would like to think we would get somewhere around that. Look, again, this guy's already split opinions amongst Rangers fans, and he's not even kicked a ball for us yet. Typical Rangers fans, mate. Honestly, would start a debate in an empty room. But you've got to give him the chance. You've got to give him the benefit of the doubt, surely. Do you know what I mean? He's now a Rangers player, so there's only one thing for us to do, and that's to support him. And I'm one for. I don't want to sound like I'm a hypocrite, because when we were first linked, the first thing I did was look at his stats and I went, oh no, well, it sounds like just what we need, a guy that scored, was it 6 goals in 3 years? Is that what it was?
3 years, aye.
Yeah, you're like, whoa, I had 2 goals a year, superb, brilliant. I think Alan McGregor's had more goals than that in his career. But you've got to give him the benefit of the doubt. And I say, I trust Beale in terms of what he's trying to do with recruitment and the kind of players that he's wanting to attract to the club. Obviously, just quickly touch on stuff, mate, because it came up. It looks like the is it Dessers? Looks like that one.
I don't want Scotia shouting at me again.
Dessers, I know. So Dessers looks like that's off. That looks like it's not happening, and it doesn't look like we're getting Tillman now either, which I expected. I'm not going to lie. I didn't expect Tillman to stay. But Rangers are weirdly making money out of that.
Yeah.
So I mean, like
Ross Wilson, a wee present for us before he left.
Yeah. There's like $1 million or something like just over £1 million quid or something.
$1 million plus 10%
plus
of what they sell him on for, yeah.
Mate, there you go.
Business.
I mean, it is a good bit of business. I've never heard anything like that before in my life. But so we're not buying a player, but we're getting money for him.
Yep.
Well, was it crazy? But what do you think of that? Quickly, I know you can touch on it more on Friday, but not Tillman not signing. The longer it went on, mate, I'm not shocked.
A lot of folk will go, why did we pay him money? Why did we pay him money? I don't think he wants to play in Scotland, Tillman.
That's true as well, yeah.
Ultimately, it's down to the boy where he wants to go. I think he wants to go to a bigger league. There's obviously a clause in the contract, Carney, that says they can terminate it, and the compensation is Rangers get £1 million and 10% of the sell-on. So to me, it's some deal, by the way, for us. I know we're not getting Tillman, but say hypothetically he moves to England for 10 million this summer. It's £2 million we've got for doing nothing, and we got a season out of him last season.
Mm-hmm.
Bayern might look at us going forward and go, potentially we could send players there and do the same. So it could be a good link up, but yeah, I'd no qualms with it at all. I don't think he wants to be. I don't think he wants. I don't think it's Rangers. If Rangers were in a bigger league,
Yeah, I
he'd
think
come
that
and
would be a
play with
question.
Rangers. But it's
Yeah, I
because it's
agree.
in Scotland. He doesn't want to come back to Scotland.
I 100% agree, mate. I do. I think that's probably the biggest factor of it all. It's where we play football. It's not who we
Yeah.
are. It's where we play football. So, yeah, I would agree with that, mate. I would agree with that. I mean, it's a shame. It is a shame. But, I mean, if Bayern are deciding that they're going to be a feeder club for us, I will take it. I will happily take that. I think of some of the names that came through their ranks, man. So I would happily take that. But yeah, well, so you can pick that up more on Friday, mate. So we'll finish up with the last one again from Aldo. What is your favourite Old Firm goal ever, mate? His Aldo's is David Cooper's when he chips over 2 or 3 Celtic players and slots it through the keeper's legs. So what's your favourite ever Old Firm goal?
Oh God, there's a lot.
Do you want me to go first?
Yeah.
Well, I've got one. I've probably got two actually, but my first one is one that I was at, and again it was another one where it was just pure scenes, and it was the 2-1 win at Hampden when Jelavic scored after Weiss hit a
No,
quick
hit
free
the
kick
post and
and
come
it hit
out.
the post and rolled in. And I've probably told this story before, but I'm pretty sure that was a game that David was at, was my big cousin, and he was honestly about must have been about 20 rows in front of us, and exactly the same kind of seats, but he was 20 rows in front of us, and I ended up next to him after that goal went in, and he's just grabbing me and I'm grabbing him, and I'm like, I don't even know how I get down here, mate. I don't even know how I get down here. But that was a good goal. That was a good day. That was a great feeling. That one. So Jelavic score, that was good. Gaza's header at Ibrox when they ran up after they just hit the
They
bar.
hit the bar.
We broke up the pitch. Gaza literally, it's if you watch that goal back now, Gaza knows he's about to score. You just watch him, like he knows I'm going to score here, like I'm going to score. And the way he plays it out to the left hand side, I think it's Alberts that crosses it in for him. And there he is, middle of the box, mate, header. It's just the way it hit the back of the net and the way the keeper dives can out the way of it and the way he runs away shouting that he's going out tonight. I absolutely loved that goal. I absolutely loved that goal from Gaza. That's one that I'll always think of. There's so many. Loudrop's one at Parkhead where the boy slips in the middle of the pitch
Yeah.
and he shoots for about
Goes in it.
40 yards. Buries it in the bottom corner. Absolutely loved that goal. Absolutely loved that one. His one at Ibrox is good as well. That's the same. I think that was the same game as that David Robertson goal I was talking about. I think that's that same game. Right, you've had plenty of time. I've named hundreds there.
There's a few that come to mind. There was the one at Parkhead. I think it was a cup game. Sure, we won it 2-0, I think it was. McCoy's final Old Firm game.
Definitely a shout.
Whip ball by Alberts, I think it was. Ball bounces on McCoy right in the middle of the goal. Head it in the back and he drops to his knees and does that. And I think
Yeah,
Richard Goff comes over and kisses him.
yeah.
And then Alberts in the same game drives through,
Oh,
goes
it's a
past
cracker.
about 3-4 players and rifles it right in the top corner, which was
Great
an
goal.
absolute screamer. But
Yeah.
the one in more modern times, I say modern times, it was still a while ago. Mendes, the one that came back
Oh,
out to him and he
God,
just
die.
rifled it right in the corner. He didn't score shite goals, Mendes, and that was a
No,
screamer.
unbelievable. That was an
And the
unbelievable shite,
commentary
that
for
one.
it was brilliant as well. I
Yeah,
loved it. Brilliant.
Mendes! Oh, it was tremendous, mate. It was. Kenny Miller's volley as well. That's a
Yeah.
good one. That's a good goal. That's a very good goal. Yeah, Kenny Miller just got praise off me. That was a very good goal. That's it. Naismith's one, actually, that one I was talking about earlier, outside his boot into top bag. Sonny Aluko's goal as well. Absolute peach. Loved
Albert's
that.
free kick I was talking about earlier on.
Yeah, that one. An absolute screamer as well, mate. But say Loving Cranch's header probably as well. My dad always tells a story about Livingston header. He was sitting in the south stand upper at Hampden, and he said the way that it came into the net, it looked like it was going past the net. So there was like a group in this one angle that it was. There was about, I don't know how many people all thought it had went wide, and then my dad said they'd just seen the net ripple, and he said, and then it was just absolute chaos from there. My dad doesn't like, see when the bouncy happens at Ibrox and the club deck moves, my dad can't stand that. Like, he does not like the feeling of it. So, but obviously you can imagine what that show stand up was like. And he said he very quickly sat down and kind of held on to his chair. But yeah, there is so many. There is absolutely so many. I mean, even in the modern days, mate, Arfield's goal, do you know what I mean? A cracker, the one at Hampden, brilliant, superb. There is so many. Ryan Jack's goal as well, for what it meant, I think, Ryan Jack's goal. At that stage anyway. At that stage, Morelos finally scoring against them after about 150 million chances to do so. Also quite enjoyable. Big Hollander's header as well. That was scenes at that. It was limbs at that.
First full house at Ibrox after COVID.
Yeah, you could be here, or you could be here all day, mate. Just talking about all the ones that we've seen. But I'm sure there's there's millions of them. There's absolutely millions of them. And I'd imagine if we were to really sit down, I would imagine that Super Ali scores quite a lot of the ones that are people's favourites, because that's just what he done. That's just what he done. So yeah, Magic. Yeah, that'll do us, mate. We've worked our way through all of them, mate. That's pretty good. Thank you, everybody. Thank you, all our channel members, for getting involved in that. It's always nice to do this, get a wee break, and to give you a little something back. So we'll definitely do it again. We will definitely do it again. So keep your eyes peeled for it. If you want to be involved the next time, like I said at the start, just sign up to the channel and you'll see it on the community tab when we put things like this out. So for tonight, Alistair, thank you very much.
No problem. That was good. Something a bit different. Without the usual Rangers news. I know we dropped a wee bit in there with Tillman and Dessers, but I'll bring that on Friday. We'll be back. I think it's been Scotia on Friday. So yes, hopefully there's some even more news for Rangers to talk about on Friday too.
Yeah, hopefully. Yeah, as Ali mentioned, I won't be on the pod on Friday. I have other plans, but I'll leave you in the very capable hands of the B team. I'm sure you will be. You will be absolutely fine with that. So yeah, as I say, they'll be back on Friday. So before you go, please do like the video. Please do subscribe to the channel. We're on the push to 5,000 subscribers for this season, which is just mental. It really is. But yeah, we'll have different things coming as well through the summer, and we're going to keep it ticking over. Don't you worry about that, because we like doing this. That's what it's all about, and we enjoy it. So as I say, there's a few things in the pipeline as well, so just keep your eyes peeled, and we'll bring something back with you. But as I say, the lads will be back on Friday, and I'll say hopefully Ali doesn't play the outro at the start. That would be quite
Probably
good.
will.
Do you want me to name the video? Do you want me to name outro, intro, and intro, outro? So you might do
I
it
do
the right way
that,
this
so
time.
I can ask it. Aye.
Right, nice one. So yes, everybody, again, thank you for tuning in. They say the boys will speak to you on Friday. So we are Club at 22, the Rangers podcast. Cheers, everybody.